Jamono Money Transfer Bureau de Change, your go-to option when it comes to money transfer. With Jamono, you can send money from anywhere in the world to your family and loved ones in the Gambia and be sure the funds will be delivered to them within the shortest time possible. For your convenience, funds sent through Jamono Money Transfer can be picked from all the banks and multiple other financial institutions, including Ajib Bank, Trust Bank, GT Bank, Mega Bank, Basic Bank, Reliance Financial Services, and Approved Services. Visit our head office at Bruce B opposite AfricMed next to Trust Bank Limited or email us at info@jamonomt.com. You can as well call us on 310-3050 or 310-3051 or yet still 733-0688. Our opening hours are 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday to Saturday and 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Sunday. Jamono Money Transfer, your most trusted money transfer service where customer satisfaction is paramount. When you think of a simple, fast, and reliable money transfer, think Jamono Money Transfer.
Agada
ke mbijan aganya
albaka
mbaka important
yo nga transfer la sto
ya transfer la
ha code nyinji
okay important nsila id soto
sa so sorry agada
mbijan bro
albaka
mbaka
bara alla service o tariaka
mbale
ki janna nun kunu bara tariaka
jannom yona forest de bureau gambia tonkon na no mbali ya bere birin koyna fo kato
bari si kodo kino kato nim fo bolong blabe
56 branches mola soto gambia jam
ha
gambia kono ani gambia bantala bankol nko kodo kiya bere kodo sifa fo falindiro fo nyaadi lafta memmen na kodi to poto nin kodi maraw jannom number 1 di nyonta andum fana nata anoda enterprise sotale wolam nyindi ko domorol fana kol fana be firale le dadi ma ni domorol ni fana beteat gambia dawda yalo ngam fa kendol sotale je
wo moyo diat
apelenta
baraka ni na lafta nyelen kendol e bina
yalo bu kanyi la ko la baraka ba
yalo ndel chosano lo
baraka.
Islamic microfinance is becoming an increasingly popular mechanism for poverty alleviation, especially for developing countries around the world. This microfinance service adheres to the principles of Islam as a form of social responsibility. Yona Islamic Microfinance is the Islamic microfinance of choice in the Gambia, trustworthy and reliable. At Yona Islamic Microfinance, we provide savings products, current accounts, financing products in conformity with Islam. In addition, Yona Islamic Microfinance also offers local and international remittances, takaful fund, management of zakat, management of awqaf, trading and investment, and building of strategic partnerships to bring financial services to the doorstep of the poor with donor projects, madrasas, youth organizations, women groups, and farmer organizations. Make a choice with Yona Islamic Microfinance today. For more information on Yona Islamic Microfinance, call 377-2151 or 9832-151 or visit Yona head office at Tipa Garage, Bakote, or visit any Yona branch located countrywide near you.
Hello and welcome to the brunch on Kerfatu Live. I'm Lamin Cham. Welcome to this shorter but no less important edition of the program. Today we are going to look out on an industry that's that's supposed to bring about a huge benefit for its practitioners, but unfortunately that is not the case. Yes, I'm talking about copyright, intellectual property, and more especially the Collecting Society of the Gambia, which had been established under the copyright law to help Gambian artists and content creators to harness material gains from their work. I'm in the studio with the officials from the Gambia Collecting Society boards. Esa Jallo is president, and outgoing Secretary General Keba Mamure is also with me in the studio. First, gentlemen, welcome to the brunch.
Thank you, Lamin. Thanks for having us.
Good. Now, let's talk, as I said in the introduction, the Gambia has a copyright law, and under this copyright law, there is the Collecting Society of the Gambia. Mm-hmm. Your organization, which is supposed to act and help Gambian artists or content creators benefit from their work. Mm-hmm. That is not the case. But before we go into that, tell me, what is the Collecting Society and how does it work?
Well, the Collecting Society of the Gambia came into being after the copyright law was established in 2004. And in that means it provides copyright protection for content creators, and then the establishment of the Collecting Society of the Gambia. The Collecting Society of the Gambia is a CMO. A CMO means a collecting management organization. Mm-hmm. That means this is a medium or group that would collect royalties on behalf of content creators and pay those content creators. So it is a medium between the copyright users and the content creators, the copyright owners and their users. So the Collecting Society sits in the middle, collects from the users and gives it to the copyright owners.
So in other words, if I am a musician,
yes,
and somebody else utilized my music for whatever purpose, especially for commercial purpose, that person ought to pay me.
Exactly.
And it's your committee who are going to determine how and when.
Exactly. That is the basic explanation. You see, anytime you write a story, you sing a song, or you create something that is a tangible artwork, you are automatically protected by the copyright law because it belongs to you. It is your idea, you generated it, and it belongs to you. And then for anybody to use that material, that person needs to pay you because you've invested your knowledge, your whatever you do, for you to benefit from it. And yes, and the thing about artistic work is it doesn't expire. Once you write a book, if I read the book, that doesn't mean the book is lesser when Mambure reads it. Mm-hmm. The content is the same. It will remain the same until 100 or 1,000,000 years.
Yes.
So this is the thing. So this is why this is how artists make their money. It's different from when you sell a bottle of water and the person drinks it. It's over.
It's over.
An artistic material, it doesn't end. So that means you have to continue to be paid for your material as long as you live. And when you die, you're going to support, you are protected for after 50 years when you die. That means that is going to go to your family.
It's fantastic. So this is happening, and a lot of artists in the international fronts, content creators, are making a lot of money. In the Gambia, you said the copyright law came into force since 2004, but that's not the case. What's the problem?
Yeah, the law is being enforced. Probably will come to that because, for example, if there was a time when somebody was sued, for plagiarizing a book, and because of that, you see, when you create something, by law, you need to go and register it as your material at the Copyright Office, which is housed at the Ministry of Tourism and Culture under the National Center for Arts and Culture. Once that is your material, now they are your witness. If you sue anyone for using your material unlawfully, they'll say, yes, Lamin Cham wrote this book, and here is his copyright registration, and then that person will be brought to book.
See.
Yes.
Okay, how do we fail as a nation? There's a law. Is it that it's not being enforced, or like you indicated yourself in your public engagement, there is an acute lack of awareness?
Exactly. What is happening now, the copyright law as it is being enforced. That is being enforced. What is lacking now is the collection of royalties. That is the major problem. The reason is there is this intellectual property office that is located or situated at the Ministry of Justice. They are responsible for patent and trademarks. That is for businesses and things like that. And then you have the Copyright Office located at the Ministry of Tourism and Culture under NCAC. Now, the Collective Management Society, which is the Collective Society of the Gambia,
Which is your organization.
yes, this is a semi-independent body composed of all the artistic associations, which means the musicians, the writers, the filmmakers, the dancers, and all of them together form a board. That board is the Collecting Society of the Gambia. They are supposed to be responsible to collect royalties on behalf of all artists. But the problem is, this is just a board. The board needs a secretariat. That secretary is supposed to appoint the people who are competent enough to administer this collection of royalties, because it's very technical. And that means there has to be money to set that up, because when you have an executive secretary for it, you need to pay him, you need to pay an accountant, you need to pay an administrator to make this. Because what you're doing is you are going into an agreement with content creators. You say, okay, Lamin, you give me, how do they call it again? You give me a power of attorney to collect money on behalf. I pay you your money and I retain some administrative costs. That is what happens there. So for us to be able to do that, this is why it is legally, it is by law, because we are supposed to be accountable to the content creators, because we are collecting money on their behalf. So we need also to be transparent, and whoever is also paying to us needs to know where their money is going. So this is the thing. So we cannot do that as a board. We are just representatives. We can be elected today, tomorrow we can go out. But we need to have a permanent secretariat there, which will be permanent, to be working with and then using all the tools that are supposed to be necessary to be able to collect royalties and pay rights holders.
So in other words, you don't have funding to come full-fledged.
Yes. Ever since this...
Since you are independent, as you said, you need to have an autonomy of independence, self-autonomy.
Exactly.
Where will then, in your case, funding come from?
Funding was supposed to come from government.
Government.
But the problem was we lobbied and we tried. And what we are hearing, we are not witness to. We are told that 2 times cabinet papers were rejected about government providing us with funding to start. Because what we need is to start operating. Once we start operating, we are supposed to generate our own money to fund ourselves.
Absolutely.
But without having that seed money, it is just impossible for us to start. And the biggest, our people who are supposed to support us, became our biggest obstacles. That is government.
I see. So in other words, you will have to get funding probably from the government, because obviously if they are interested, it is their duty actually it's their duty absolutely to look after the interests and welfare of everybody. So they need to support this collecting society of the Gambia so that you can do your work. And as you are doing your work, of course, you are self-funding, because when the royalties are paid on behalf of creators, you distribute and keep some for your administrative costs.
Yes.
In that case, you are floating. All right, Mr. Mamore.
Yes.
Let's have details from you, and let us now break them down. Artists, content creators. How does it work? How do they earn money?
Okay. Thank you so much. To begin with, I think I would have to shed some light over what the president said. That is a famous historian and a curator whose books had been infringed by one of the lecturers of a senior school several times. And that person,
you're talking about the Gambia?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that person was using these books as his own creative works, while the books belong, or in fact the original belonging of those books is from a lady who is a famous historian.
Who's still alive?
Of course, Madam Sonko
Godwin, yes.
Right.
Her case was widely publicized.
Yes, in fact, it was a famous case. So this matter had been brought to the police, later on to the court, and then the guy later on had to pay, a handsome sum of money to the lady for compensation. So it is important that once a book is written, talking from a writer's perspective point now, once a book is written, you need to get an ISBN.
Yes, that is normally at every book, on the cover of every
international standard
book number.
So once you have this, that it means that now the book is fully yours. But now writing a book, without an ISBN, and you went ahead publishing that book, that means the book belongs to anybody. Now, any person anywhere can come and claim ownership of that book. And whatever that book entails, the person can create something out of that and generate money without your knowledge, and you won't be able to get anything from it, and nothing would have ever been done about it. So this is the disadvantage, and the advantageous part of it is that you must get an ISBN. So that shows that you are the sole owner of this book. So once you get that, now the books become protected. Now it is yours. Now whoever take that book and take charges of that book or whatever it contains, and now you have the right, the full autonomy to take the person before the law.
And you see, by extension, it's not only using the book as it is. If I'm a filmmaker and I decide to take that book to do a film out of that book, I need to pay him for doing that. If I am a musician and I took my lyrics from those books, I need to pay because it is his original work.
Absolutely.
It belongs to him.
Yeah.
So this is it. So you realize that it is for writers and people, even for fine art. You design something new, for example, you have a new design thing, and it is you who first did it. You can register it, and it will have this unique number. You know, it's ISBN for books. There are unique numbers also for music and other content. So this is what is registered, and this is what the algorithm recognizes. Once you have that, it goes into YouTube or it goes into anywhere, they recognize, oh, this is Lamin Cham song. And automatically that copyright will have to be referred to. This is why when you use somebody's material on YouTube, it is flagged. Because as an algorithm, it detects that this thing is being used by somebody who is not supposed to use it.
That's the power of algorithm.
Yes.
So how do you go about your role as collecting society? You've described your function, but how do you go about now protecting Gambian artists and musicians?
Number one, we'll have to, the administration part has to come. That is the secretariat. When that comes, that means we'll have to develop what we call a business proposal. And that business proposal is what we are going to be given to people who we want to represent. And then we'll sign an agreement with these artists, content creators, that we want you to give us power of attorney to collect royalties on your behalf. Once that is done, we are going to be using some computer systems or softwares. There is one that is called WIPO Connect that we are going to use. This is going to help us monitor what is being used on your behalf. All right. Even for books, even for universities, when they use your book to teach, they need to pay royalties on your behalf. When broadcasters use your music in their productions, they need to pay you back. But then broadcaster and and university can also generate their own content. When it is being used by other people, they can also get paid. So that secretariat is what is going to be the nucleus of the CSG.
So they will do the monitoring, or they will collect complaints from people who
no. They will monitor, and then they will collect. What they will do is they'll have to put a tariff depending on how they want to work with it. For example, now they can say, if you play if you are at a radio station, say, for the sake of making it easier in the beginning, they can tell you, for a year you need to pay $1,000 for using Gambian music. So the system can monitor, did you play more Jaliba or more ST or whatever, and do that by percentage. They can say, Jaliba you own $9, ST you own $7. The system can do that. There's a system that is available that can do that. When it becomes very sophisticated, and it can distribute even more accurate, that it can tell you the number of minutes that you have played for Jaliba or whatever you've played for ST, and it can generate.
So this is a whole technical.
It's a whole technical
matter.
Yes.
That your institution.
But what we're going to we need to also work directly or hand in hand with Pura, because Pura is also supposed to have a computer system to monitor radios. That is supposed to come into it, and that is going to work in close contact with our system, whereby we can be able to monitor what content users are using. And not only that, for hotels, when you have a nightclub, when you play music to entertain people, you need to pay us. The
collective side.
Yes, you need to, because that when we'll have to make arrangements for all these hotels, for all these restaurants, for all these nightclubs, that you use content, and then you need to pay us this amount of money at the end of every month for your use of our material, and we will distribute to our content creators. That's what we will be doing.
Okay, so if we all know that all radio stations here and some TV stations have music programs, entertainment programs, and we know they use music, they play music from TV. So their argument is that perhaps they are doing a service to the musicians and the artists because they are promoting their products. You are now telling me that instead it should be the other way around. They should pay the artists.
Exactly.
So how can radio stations or television stations now go about? How can they do their music programs when they know now for each music you play there's a cost for it?
All right. Just as the president said, this thing is programmed, and it could only be tracked by a server. So there is need to get a server and to be stationed at the secretariat.
Okay.
So this server would serve as the main tracker of the musics or intellectual properties played or used by others. So this server must have a center, and of course it must be decentralized in other offices, studios, GSM company and operators, so that it can help us go about and do our work easily. So this is how we can get it. So as the example has been cited, is that we can only have this possible if only the government comes in. But we cannot have this possible, and we cannot have it fully running if the government sits and fold their hands. But by power and of course by virtue, we are trying our best level to get this started and running. But first, we must have a secretariat. So this secretariat will help us gather all the data as well as the information, where a music is played, whose music is played, when, how many times it's been played. So all this contributed to the rate of the payment. So this is mostly how it is done.
I take it that outside the Gambia, they have established structures, and the artists and content producers are reaping the benefits of copyright, or not so?
Absolutely. I think Gambia is one of the few, or not even I think it's the only, because I've attended a conference in Zimbabwe, and you can realize that when I checked around, it looks like it is only us who are not collecting right now. Probably even Liberia of recent, they have a way of collecting their royalties, because they were the last ones before. But then what other people might think is an excuse. For example, the musician may think that, okay, if this is being paid, maybe my music is not going to play.
That's the concern.
They're doing me a favor. No. This is your work, like I said, an artistic work. If you consume it, you need to pay for it. It's just like when you are selling a bottle of water. When anybody who consumes it will have to pay.
There you
So you don't take your material that is supposed to earn you money, just throw it to people to consume and not give you anything in the memory that you're going to get promoted. No. And then if for example, a radio station say, okay, this is Gambia, if you want us to pay you this thing, now we're going to stop playing your music and play other music. No, there's no way doing that, because we are going to be signing reciprocal agreement with other collecting societies. You play Sundur here, we collect on behalf of Sundur. So if you want us to collect on behalf of Gambians, then you have to call it. You have to play Gambian music. So we see now how patriotic you are, whether you're going to play Gambian music or you're going to play. So because if you play,
you make money for people outside.
Exactly.
I see.
That is the thing. So because we're going to sign that agreement with Senegal, with all other this thing. That's we belong to a global village.
Absolutely.
And that is it. The World Intellectual Property Organization. We are all linked. Yes. So if you play anything foreign here, we'll collect. Whether they pick it from us or not, we'll still collect.
I see.
So you will be throwing your money to other artists,
other artists
instead of your own.
So now I see that your collecting society most have to do with cross-sectoral, what we call cross-sectoral institutions in the Gambia. You have Ministry of Tourism, you have Ministry of Justice. So define me each of these ministries' role in your job.
Well, the Ministry of Justice is mainly the legal part of it.
Okay.
The legal part of it, where copyright is infringed, then there is a case to go to court and things like that. That is there.
I see.
Okay. And they also have part of it, the IPO, the Intellectual Property Office, is under their custody. That is for trademarks and patents, which is a bit more complicated.
They give trademarks like this, Isajalo and so on, so Lamin Cham and company.
Exactly. Or when you design something new, something that you patent it and you get paid for
trademarked.
You trademark. And people don't even know this MRC Holland thing. The people who that money come is royalties. That is funding all of these schools that you are seeing.
So, for example, these royalties, they are paying scholarships for people.
Exactly. These are scientists who did something in the scientific world, and they are still being paid that money. They don't need it.
That's what they give to charity.
Yes.
I see.
That is it. So you
this
see
is how effective.
That is how effective it is.
Yes.
So you realize that Bob Marley is still being paid.
He died in 1981.
Yes.
About.
So you can look at now, for example, the family of Omar Bunjang. How many times are people using Omar Bunjang's phrase? Okay, you'll say he's going to get sawab, and fine, that is it. But it is his work. All right.
So even if everything is in place, or had been in place, Omar Bun's preachings would have all been money making.
If you play it anywhere, you're supposed to pay.
It's widely played.
Yes, you're supposed to pay royalties, and it is to go to his family. You know, so it is not only to music.
Lalo Keba, likewise.
Lalo Keba, similarly.
Kora.
All of that. And then in music, it is divided into categories. The right holders are divided into categories. You know, you have the producers, the people who sit in the studio and make music, they are part of it. You have the musicians themselves who sing, and then you have the musicians who play instruments. They're all part of these things. So now, when we had COVID, there was no show.
Yes.
You were not going to go to anywhere to fill stadiums. Yes. How are you musicians going to make your money? When you lose your voice, how are you going to make your money? It's your royalties. This is your pension.
I see.
So our musicians don't understand this, or they are ignoring it, but they are throwing away money. And secondly, the government, what they don't realize also, when you pay musicians or content creators royalties, they are obliged to pay tax. So they are throwing away money as well. Maybe Yankuba Dabo is hearing me. This is money that is throwing away. You know, although they are collecting money from musicians when they stage shows, but they're not giving back anything to musicians. And this is one of the biggest employers in our country.
Yes.
You look at when ST hosts a show, how many people benefit from that show, directly and indirectly.
Yeah.
All right. Look at how much money QCity is making out of music. You know how much they pay QCity per show. You know how much they pay for a stage.
A stage.
To rent a stage is around $700,000. Just a stage.
Just a stage.
It matters.
Absolutely.
You know, so these are things that
transportation system.
So this is categorized in different things. So, and the other part of it, now we have this YouTube, we have TikTok, we have
exactly. I'm coming to that.
We have a lot of content creators that are not able to be paid in the Gambia simply because our copyright laws are not working properly. We are not having any.
So you mean
that is working.
Because we don't have the laws or enforcement?
Yes.
I mean, all our YouTubers here, so to speak, are not getting any money
from the Gambia. No, if you set up a YouTube from Gambia, YouTube is not going to pay you. You know, TikTok is not going to pay you. If you want to get paid, somebody has to open an account for you elsewhere. So if you open an account elsewhere and the person is from
if I'm here in Brufut,
yes,
and I create things for YouTube, YouTube is not gonna pay me.
No, if the account is in the Gambia.
If the account is in the Gambia.
That is if the account is registered in the Gambia.
If it is registered in Gambia. So if I register in Senegal,
yes,
but I'm creating content in the Gambia.
Yes.
So if it's in Senegal, somebody has to represent me in Senegal.
Yeah, there has to be an account. You'll have to pay it in an account. That means an account has to be created. Either you go physically there, open your account, or you let somebody open it for you there. Similarly with TikTok, similarly with other, streaming sites. That is what you do.
That's because the law of Senegal is having an effect on your creativity.
And your creativity.
Yes.
So effectively, all the people here, all these so-called TikTokers we've seen all here, in terms of that, they don't get money for that, or less.
Yes, and they are paying tax elsewhere, because when you earn money in somebody's country,
you have to pay tax.
Yes,
it's a must.
It's a must that goes out.
Interesting. So I mean, you talked about Ministry of Justice. Yeah, we know they legal. What about tourism?
It is the Ministry of Tourism and Culture. Under culture, you have the National Center for Arts and Culture. This is the custodian of the Copyright Office. When you have created something, which you go to the National Center for Arts and Culture and you register it as your property, so copyright. Okay, that is their role. They are also the supervisors of the artistic associations in the country. The filmmakers, the musicians, the writers, they all have their own associations under the umbrella of National Center for Arts and Culture. Although these are private, but they are the supervisors. They make sure that these associations go to Congress, they follow the rules and regulations, and they organize them to form a CSG. They are supposed to be the ones to do the bidding for the CSG in government through the Ministry of Culture. But what they are telling us, ever since, we've tried, we went to government and nothing is happening. So if that is true, we are saying that the government don't know their own law. Because if you know your law, you know you're supposed to be doing this, how can we do it without money? You do not expect me to take my money out of my pocket to set up a secretariat.
You see, I share an example, and why you probably, or people, sympathetic to your organization might be right in joining the government. When they set up when there are semi-autonomous bodies that are set up, they quickly fund them, provide them an office. I don't want to say, I can name
many
many names.
The Human Rights Organization.
The Human Rights Commission is there. The Access to Information Commission is there.
And they paid commissioners huge amount of money.
A lot of money. And look at this very important.
Yes.
That is really protecting, let's say, the country's industry, whole industry.
Creative works of people.
Yeah, people are missing out in, missing out their livelihoods. So the government should take serious interest. But let me ask you, how strong is your engagement with these two authorities?
It's strong. Unfortunately, we cannot jump the queue. We are supposed to be talking directly to the National Center for Arts and Culture. And to be honest, over the years, they have become our biggest obstacles. I'm sorry if this is not...
The National Center for Arts and Culture?
Yes, because they are the ones who are supposed to do our bidding. They are the ones that we can accuse of not doing anything. Even though they're telling us that they have gone to government and also we met the former minister, that is Hamad Ba, myself, I went to his office and he didn't give us even 15 minutes to discuss this. And then he promised us at one time they're going to give us some amount of money to do what, and nothing came. And it was between them and the NCAC. No, we've given them. No, they didn't give us. That kind of a thing. So the Ministry of Tourism and Culture is not serious about us, to be honest. I have even written a letter to meet the president about this. And I was, I received a telephone call about asking me why we wanted to meet the president. And I explained this thing, and it ended. So I don't know how that person interpreted that whoever is responsible to give us appointment, and we were not giving
and you explain?
I explain. I don't ask. Yes.
Remember,
these are procedures, and we cannot just come and make names for ourselves.
Yes.
Procedures, however, are now becoming quite bureaucratic. Yeah, because we are facing difficulties with regard to holding our own rights, because having to have this work and making progress, it is the benefit of both the CSG and the government and people who are the sole creative owners of these works.
Yeah.
So depriving us from having this established or set up or having this running, it actually means depriving the creative owners of their own rights. So now having this done, it is by or through one way, which is to have a consensual meeting with those that are responsible, key players, and we put to them that this and this and this and this is what we need. In fact, this we've been doing. We've been meeting the NCAC over the past years. The ministry, which is Tourism and Culture. I mean, we've been meeting them several times, but to no avail. Why? Probably they are ignorant about the CSG. But I mean, being ignorant about the CSG is not an excuse. You are a ministry. It is part of your rights, your TOR, as the body in general, to conduct researches. Conduct researches, not just researches. And then you would have subsequent knowledge, enough knowledge with regard to things that you must invest in. So if you fail to do that, you are failing in your own responsibility. But we cannot force. The only thing we can do is that we can only go and have dialogue with them and put them to right. But if they are failing for us to put them to right, what is expected of us then?
So, okay, government may argue that, oh, no, we can't take public money and put it in somewhere. It has to be an institution that must have a justification.
Exactly, but do you exempt us from the public?
So which of these two ministries certainly are you under?
Tourism and Culture.
Tourism and Culture.
Yes.
So in other words, and the Directorate of the National Center for
Arts and Culture.
That's exactly your
Act
oversight.
Specifically stipulate that there shall be a collecting society of the Gambia, and it goes.
And that is in the act.
And the act is part of the law.
Oh, absolutely. So definitely this is a government
institution. It is a government thing.
Institution that should have
Section 79 of the act.
Yes.
So here is an act, a law like any other act. And it has been neglected because it's not been given funding, it's not been given how to call it, all the way with attention.
Yes, but they really know, because you know why? they have actually, there's already a bill in Parliament trying to, how do they call it? They wanted to
Pass the bill.
To pass a bill to change the copyright law.
To change it to how
To change it, I don't to amend it and do some additions, and that is a bit complicated. That is another topic.
So even if you don't start first, you're talking about
changing. There's a new bill that is going on, and that is bringing quarrel between the Ministry of Tourism and Ministry of Justice. This is why I said this is a whole topic of its own. So
you know a little bit about what bill.
We know because we sent a position paper on that. We went to Parliament.
What is this bill trying to seek to achieve?
It is seeking to remove the Copyright Office from Ministry of Tourism to the Ministry of Justice, and it is also seeking to add some private CMOs in addition to the current CSG. These are two fundamental changes. So this is why I said there's another topic of discussion.
But so, how does this then help in protecting?
Doesn't help.
It doesn't help.
It doesn't help. It's just a matter of merry-go-round, quarrel here and there and all whatnot, and we are left in the middle. You know, when they said even two elephants fight, what happened?
And is the Ministry of Justice seeking that?
Seeking that, yes. That bill is currently in Parliament.
What justification did they give?
I wouldn't know all the details, but I know the bill is in Parliament. It is at the committee level. We went there. We submitted our own position paper about what we think of the bill, and we also gave them a situation report about our condition. So we don't know what the parliamentarians would do. So we've kept on asking. Like the last time I asked, they told me December it will come out, but nothing else. I don't know when it's going to come out. But that, like I said, probably we'll have to have some parliamentarians in order to talk about it more, to do that.
So let's talk to in the common man's perspective.
Yes.
Who do you think our big artists or content creators who might today, if your collective society had been running and functioning over the last 10 years or so, or since the copyright law was enacted 2004, which ones do you think? You mentioned, okay, the Bunjangs, could have been raking a lot of money from their work. Who is you thinking of? Like, what about Jaliba? Yeah?
Jaliba is earning right now. Jaliba has actually assigned someone to do his bidding outside the Gambia, and he's being paid out of the Gambia.
Outside the Gambia now?
Yes. There are agents that you can get registered with, and they can do the collection on your behalf outside.
So now Jaliba is forced to go outside.
Yes. You see, there are a few musicians who are aware of this, and this is why we wanted all musicians to be aware that they are throwing money away. I'm not too sure whether ST has the same thing, like the kind of following has, but I know that that was one that Jizul and all, was it Jizul? Oh no, G Balagay and all. There were issues with Africell until Africell had to pay them compensation.
Okay, yes.
Those issues came because their music was being used through Africell or whatever. I don't remember the exact details.
The exact details.
Some of them are aware of this. But then, if you expand it, when the copyright law was coming into being in 2000, there were very few music producers. Now there are a lot of them, and they are stakeholders in this. So that would mean that all of them are throwing away money.
So there need to be, like you said, your organization, quite apart from you not being equipped to function, effectively, you need, of course, to build. To build understanding of these things among the direct beneficiaries themselves.
Direct beneficiaries, the musicians, and all content creators. Now, because content creators have, it has changed. The TikTokers, they are big stakeholders. Now you can see, for example, the people who are doing this drama and putting it on YouTube. They are getting big following. They can't get paid in the Gambia. And then other people are using those materials for their own benefit, and they're not giving anything back to those content creators. So you see, the content creators, the writers, I think, are the most aware group in this whole thing.
Tell us aspects. Yeah, the writers we talk about.
They are the more, because maybe they are more intellectually.
They know about it more than this. Yes.
So they know that. I think they are much more protected than the others, because they are more responsible than because the creative art industry, that other aspect, people can just jump one day and they start doing.
It's more easily pirated.
Exactly. So you see, there need to be awareness creation for rights holders to understand that this is their right. And in fact, it is their human right, because if you work, you're supposed to be paid. So this labor thing also will come into it, because it's your labor. This is why you even wrote to the Human Rights Commission to tell them that it is our fundamental rights that are being infringed here.
I see a contradiction. The government officials will say Gambian people don't get up to work, so we have to give contracts to foreigners. Even if we give contracts, it is only foreigners who come to work. But if you're going to do a comparison, this means that because of the negligence of the authorities towards the collecting society, I mean, money is being created for foreigners on behalf of Gambians. Exactly. When the money should have stayed here, because as a content creator, you earn nothing here. But if you open an account in Senegal or Nigeria and somebody's running that, you get money, like Jaliba Pet and others.
I'll tell you something. You see, in the early days when this collecting society was formed, you wouldn't believe that Yusundu gave money to Gambia for us to be able to make our collecting society work.
When was this?
I don't remember how much money, or I don't know
when
how much
was this.
I think it was around 400,000.
Yeah.
Dollars.
Yeah.
Yes.
Back in those days.
Back in those days.
That was during the Jamma's time.
Jamma's time. He did that.
He gave it to who?
He gave it to, I don't know where it went to. I don't remember, but I know the money came, and then, you know, because it is in his interest. There's a lot of Yusundur miss that place, and he doesn't get anything out of it. So that is
why he wanted. Oh, I see the point.
You see, so you can see how important this is. Otherwise, why would Yusundur spend that amount of money in Gambia?
I see. Because he wanted some regulatory system so that he would be able to earn.
He will be able to earn money.
That's a science.
I see. So
you see? So this is how important it is. You know, so you realize that also our musicians would sometimes, for example, recently when our Gambia had this duet with Yusundur.
Yes.
You know, there's
7 seconds.
Exactly. That if that goes out,
yes,
our Gambia needs to pay royalties for that. Whatever that is paid, she needs to pay royalties for that.
And that will definitely go out.
Exactly.
I know Yusundur will market that.
She's not gonna get anything.
She got a lot of money.
Yes. She is likely not going to get anything out of that.
Because it's Gambia.
Yes.
It happened in Gambia.
So you see, that is the thing. So artists need to understand this. That
it's for their benefit.
That it is not only the shows that give them money.
So they should in fact come rally behind the collecting society.
Exactly.
Empower you, support you, so that the government will be aware that, look, this is our life, our bread and butter. You should give equal treatment to us. That's you need to other things.
In fact, I had once came up with a suggestion, a very crazy suggestion, to say, okay, now if government is not giving us money, some of these artists have a lot of money. Why then do loan us money to set up a secretariat? And while we pay them their royalties, we can at the same time pay the loan.
But that's not sustainable. And
when we establish, we start collecting royalties, we earn money,
yourself, yes.
We pay them money, and we pay ourselves.
Yeah, but
not for them to give us money for free.
I understand.
Yes.
Just for them to
loan the collecting society to set up a secretariat, and when the collecting society starts collecting, then they start paying those loans as well as royalties back to them.
There must be term agreement.
Yes, so that is something that can work if they are interested. If you put 10 good artists together, they should be able to put up something that the collecting society can know, because it is their property. You know, and they are going to come and sign this deal with the CSG, collect royalties on my behalf. And because of that, because if you ask somebody to collect money on your behalf, you're not going to go look away. You have to always come to say, well, how did you do this? So we are going to subject to scrutiny by our members. They'll say, how much did you collect? How did you distribute it? You know, what did you? And you are going to be answerable to them. Whoever is in the board is supposed to be answerable to the rights holders. You have to organize annual general meetings, you have to organize congresses, and you have to give financial statements. That is what is going to happen. So it is not something like, oh, give us, I'm here, and then tomorrow I'm going somewhere. No, that won't happen. And because this is law, if I infringe anything else, if we or myself did something in that, then I'm liable to be prosecuted for that.
So without an office, without any money to start operations, where does the collective society? Where are you?
Now imagine you are supposed to travel now.
Yes.
From here to Brickham and you have no money. Where do you go? How do you go? How do you get there?
You don't go.
You don't go.
So that's it. That's the struggle right now.
And you see,
even writers are facing this. They are facing the same problem. Most writers, especially in the Gambia, they only have money when they are publishing their book, when they are launching their book.
Yes, that's right.
Their books, exactly.
Right.
So this is the only time where most Gambians have money that they can put in their pockets. So sometimes you could have money that you can have only in your hands, but it won't be fit for your pocket. Because any money that is put into your pocket, might have a chance to live longer. But any money that you have in your hand will be short-lived.
I see your point.
So this only happens when there are pledges going on. So people will bid for 1 book, 2 books, 3 books, 4 books, 5, 6, 7, up to the highest number that anybody can bid. So if you accumulate that in cash, then it gives you a huge amount of money. Others to do it, others to. So add them together. Now you have money. So what happens? Exactly. So what happens after the book launch?
Nothing else.
So books are sold one after the other, or once in a blue moon, once in every month, twice in every month.
I see writers like Samsar, his book, he put it on Amazon, and perhaps was getting money through that way, but and he put it in bookshop. So I mean, he had to relaunch it, find sponsorship to relaunch it in order to be able to get money. And when you go to bookshops, you see authors, international bestsellers. They sold a lot of money, very expensive.
Yeah.
And I mean, and those works are not that they are better than ours, but because the authors are getting money because there is a regulation, there is a regulatory body. Right. So the Gambia, basically, you are saying, is lagging behind. Perhaps one of the few, or even the only country in West Africa or in Africa, who is not benefiting, or whose artists and writers are not benefiting because there is a total lack of intellectual property law or its enforcement.
Yeah, it's enforcement per se. Yeah, other countries have gone to a point that they have even different collecting societies, specializing.
More than one.
Specializing, yes, only for music, or specializing only for lithography.
Which is more,
yes,
make it more easy.
Yes. So for us, we didn't even start for anything. So you see, that was one thing also that was going on, and it is not talked about now, and that is the endowment fund. That's what you call the National Endowment Fund. Yeah, that is supposed to be something to be able to fund artist work under the custody of the Ministry of Tourism and Culture, by extension NCAC. That means if you import in this country anything that is media related, it can hold content like an SD card, like whatever, TV and things like that. You are able to pay an amount of money, because this is something that can hold content
from the Gambia,
you know. And then that money is supposed to go to the endowment fund. That endowment fund is supposed to fund whatever artists are going through. So right now we don't know what is happening about it with that. So these are all
questions that should be put to the Ministry of Culture.
Exactly. Government needs to do something, because government is helping other institutions to collect money. For example, government have this act for collecting, so for how to call it, GSM operators to collect money on behalf of other institutions.
Exactly.
Even for
like the sports levy.
The sports levy example.
Exactly.
So that is the same similar
and for construction, road, NRA.
Exactly. So
you buy fuel now.
Exactly.
I mean, you are contributing to road construction.
Exactly. That is why the endowment fund is there. So if they should help us, if they cannot give us money directly, they should help us implement that, so they can give us money from that, and that can help us establish. But what the CSG needs is to start running. Once it starts collecting, they don't need funding again.
They don't need funding again.
Because
you just need the seed money to go on.
Exactly.
And they will sustain. You will be able to sustain yourself when as time goes on.
Exactly.
Because you'll be collecting money, paying to the people who deserve it or who work for it, and then keep some for your administrative costs. And all you need is administrative costs.
Administrative costs, yes. So for us, the board, we are only there for policies, and the secretariat are going to be the staff that are going to be paid. The board wouldn't receive any salary. The board is just there for administrative and policy. Probably maybe sitting allowance for meetings and for coffee and stuff like that. But then the secretariat would have to be, they are going to be contracted staff, fully paid staff.
Yes, you need
to do the work, because it is technical. It needs somebody who understands copyright, who knows all of these things, and even need legal advice and things when it grows, because you have to go to court and things like that and all whatnot.
Gentlemen, I deliberately take this topic as a break from our normal brunches, just to raise awareness about this. So for your final takes on these things, Mambre, what do you think should be, what's in the way of a rallying call, if so to speak, would you do in order to rally all these stakeholders and of course governments to get their acts together now and get the collecting society equipped and get it functional?
That's one thing. Already we are successful in one thing, which is gathering the artistic industry.
Oh,
Yes.
you said we are successful. We are good at that.
Yes, I mean, we are successful at gathering.
Ah, okay.
Yes, we are successful in gathering them. First, that is, all the artistic associations across this country are aware of the CSGs exist.
They are aware of this collecting society.
Exactly, they are. If you could get the words of the president a couple of minutes ago, he did say that we've engaged several artists to come and be part of the board. So this shows that they are aware. And if you are to be part of this board, it must comprise of the leadership. That is either the president and the secretary general. So that is one that is successful. So now what we should do now is to have this money, is to make sure that we have the funding necessary to equip ourselves. I'm talking about the CSG, to equip the CSG and have it running. So once we have this running, then we have everything at hand. But now this is not possible if there is no funding for it. But how do you go about that? We only have to go to the government. These are the authorities that could help us establish this secretariat. We have to go to the government and make sure that our plans as well as our business ideas are placed before their tables, so that they can go through it, and they can help us have this established. The president actually spoke about this, so it's actually going to be some sort of repetition, because everything that we need have been discussed here. Do you understand? So the only thing that is to be done is action.
Yes, sir.
Finally, I would appeal to the rights holders, particularly the musicians, who are one of the biggest stakeholders in this, that they need to understand that there is money lying down there and they're ignoring it. And they need to remember this is their pension. One day they may run out of lyrics, but your one song can keep you there for the entire day. Not only to musicians, but whoever is a content creator. Whether you are a preacher, you are a comedian, if your content is going on mediums, know that this is your baby. You need to support this thing and to make sure that government helps us to put up a secretariat so that we can start this thing rolling.
Very well. Issa Jallo is the president of the Collecting Society of the Gambia, CSG. That's why you had the acronym being used all the time. And Keba Mambere, also outgoing Secretary General of the same organization. Now, the CSG is created under the Copyright Act, which was passed by Parliament since 2004. A good 21 years ago. But the collecting society, which should operate as its technical arm, is still not functional because government would not equip it up to now. And in fact, government is thinking of changing the copyright law. That is, of course, aggravating the problem. So we appeal to the government, the Ministry of Tourism and the Ministry of Justice to get their acts together and help Gambian content creators, musicians, artists, even preachers, religious preachers, not to miss out on a potential livelihood. Let's do as others do in other nations, develop the whole country's economy and industry holistically. That's the message from the CSG. And that's the message on the brunch this week. I'm Lamin Cham. The brunch will be back next week. Until then, goodbye for now.
Islamic microfinance is becoming an increasingly popular mechanism for poverty alleviation, especially for developing countries around the world. This microfinance service adheres to the principles of Islam as a form of social responsibility. Yona Islamic Microfinance is the Islamic microfinance of choice in the Gambia, trustworthy and reliable. At Yona Islamic Microfinance, we provide savings products, current accounts, financing products in conformity with Islam. In addition, Yona Islamic Microfinance also offers local and international remittances, Takaful Fund, management of Zakat, management of Awqaf, trading and investment, and building of strategic partnerships to bring financial services to the doorstep of the poor with donor projects, madrasas, youth organizations, women groups, and farmer organizations. Make a choice with Yona Islamic Microfinance today. For more information on Yona Islamic Microfinance, call 377-2151 or 9832-151 or visit Yona head office at Tipa Garage, Bakote, or visit any Yona branch located countrywide near you.
Jamono Money Transfer Bureau de Change, your go-to option when it comes to money transfer. With Jamono, you can send money from anywhere in the world to your family and loved ones in the Gambia and be sure the funds will be delivered to them within the shortest time possible. For your convenience, funds sent through Jamono Money Transfer can be picked from all the banks and multiple other financial institutions, including Ajib Bank, Trust Bank, GT Bank, Mega Bank, Basic Bank, Reliance Financial Services, and Approved Services. Visit our head office at Bruceby opposite AfricMed next to Trust Bank Limited or email us at info@jamonomt.com. You can as well call us on 310-3050 or 310-3051 or yet still 733-0688. Our opening hours are 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday to Saturday and 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Sunday. Jamono Money Transfer, your most trusted money transfer service where customer satisfaction is paramount. When you think of a simple, fast, and reliable money transfer, think Jamono Money Transfer.
I get it.
Mbijano aganyadi.
Albaka.
Mbaka important.
Yo, nga transfer la sto.
Ya transfer la sto.
Ha, code nyingi.
Okay.
Kosa.
Nsila ID soto.
Ah, that's what. Sorry. I get it.
Mbijano bro.
Albaka.
Mbaka.
Bara alla service o tariya.
Ah,
mbare mo ki janna nun kunu bara tariya.
Janno mi Yona Forest de Bureau. Gambia tonkon na no mbari ya bere. Birim koyna fo kato.
Bari si kodo kino kato ni fo bolong blabe to.
56 branches mola sota Gambia jam.
Ha?
Gambia kono anin Gambia bantala bankol. Nko kono kiya bere to. Kodo sifa fo falindiro fo nyaadi lafta memmen na kodi to poto nin kodi maraw. Jannom number 1 ti nyonta. Andum fana nata anoda enterprise sotale. Wolam nyindi ko domorol fana kol fana be firale de dadi ma nin domorol dil fana beteat. Gambia dawda yalo ngam fa kendol sotale je.
Wo moy o diat.
Apelenta
baraka ni ma lafta nyelen kendo le binaji.
Yalo bukani la ko la baraka ba.
Yalo ndel chosano lo.
Abaraka.